Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another episode of the Business B.E.A.R podcast. It's your buddy Connor Norman here, your business development specialist and host to one of the best podcasts in the area. I think maybe it's one of three, but I'll take the crown for now. But anyway, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. We've got another great episode and another wonderful guest with us today. Today, we're going to be joined by Kim Carter from Kim Carter Coaching. We are going to learn everything she's got going on. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about this program. This is a podcast that is about your business community here in Garrett County. We profile local businesses, we talk to economic development movers and shakers, and we bring in local officials to tell you what's happening in your backyard. There's so much to learn on this program, and if you want to be a part of it, give me a call sometime. I'd love to bring you in, talk about your business, your entrepreneurial endeavor, or just what's going on with your nonprofit in the community. Give me a call. 301-334-7281, or you can email me anytime at cnorman@garrettcountymd.gov. Again, that's 301-334-7281, or email me at cnorman@garrettcountymd.gov. Again, always happy to take questions, always happy to get you on my schedule. We want to learn more about our business community, and this podcast helps to make it happen. So the Business B.E.A.R podcast is endorsed by Garrett County Business Development and Garrett County Government, but I will let you know that any opinions shared by the host or their guest are their own and do not reflect that of either agency. So let's get into the program. Kim Carter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
For those that aren't familiar, Kim came in to kind of tell us a little bit about the beginnings of her business on the Business B.E.A.R podcast when we had the special event up at Garrett College. It was a fun day where we brought in tons of businesses and did kind of a live format. We sat there, and anyone that wanted to come in and talk, they had an opportunity to do so. I really encourage you to go back and listen to those episodes if you haven't already. It was a lot of fun, and I think we had a good time, Kim, didn't you?
Oh, I had a great time, thank you.
Yeah, it was so good to have you in there and just talking about your business. And you've had a lot of developments since then that I'm excited to help share with our listeners today in a kind of longer format, because we were only abbreviated to like 15 minutes there. Now we're going to have as much time as we need. And while we're talking about your business, there's something exciting about today's episode. And that's the fact that somewhere in the length of this episode, there's going to be a key word. And I understand you are going to be providing a scholarship for your services, and we're going to learn all about what those are here in just a minute. But I want to tee this up because you never know when we're going to drop that key word that could win you a scholarship to some awesome services that Kim is going to provide. So we're excited about that, aren't we, Kim?
Oh, yes, I can't wait.
I know. I understand you moved to the area a couple years ago, and you've made Garrett County home. Tell me, why Garrett County? Why is this a great place to live?
It's a great place to live for a lot of different reasons. For the natural resources, the lake, the mountains, the hiking at Swallow Falls. Here, it's just incredible. The whitewater rafting. And I love that it's a small community, but it really doesn't feel like a small community. Everyone is community oriented and so welcoming. It's just fantastic. And there's a lot of activity here. It's a small town, and you really wouldn't think that it is like a beehive of activity around here.
Yeah.
There's always so much to do, just all kinds of fantastic opportunities to be outdoors and boat, fish. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
And I love the community. Everybody's so welcoming, and that's a few things why I like this community so much.
That's awesome. I think you brought an interesting perspective in here, because many people might argue and say there's not enough to do. And I will argue, you will argue. I think a lot of people will say, listen, there is a lot to do in Garrett County if you're willing to broaden your horizon and do something outside of the normal. You can get involved with great nonprofit groups. You can go out, enjoy our huge palette of outdoor activities. You can start making and creating influence around the community, which will take you far and beyond. And I think you really hit the nail on the head there. And that's really cool to hear that, because we want to put that out there that Garrett County is, again, may have that small town feel, but it's got a big, living attitude, and I really respect what you have to say there. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been married for 40 years, have two adult children, five grandchildren. And when we were thinking about moving here, I thought, what a wonderful place our for me and my husband, and for our kids and our grandkids, because we're all outdoorsy people.
Yeah.
So I thought, what a fantastic place to live, because there's something for everyone.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about my grandkids, and I'm like, when they're 13, they're not going to say, oh, I don't want to go to Nana and Grandpa's because there's nothing to do, because there's so much to do here.
Yeah.
With the ski resort and boating, there's just they can't be bored. So that's not an excuse. I've
Yeah.
eliminated that excuse for them ahead of time.
Let's go. We're taking it out
So
entirely.
that's right. So that's a little bit about me. Just spending time with my kids and my grandkids and enjoying life.
Nice.
And one thing, let me just tell you a story. When I first moved here, we had, a house built on top of the mountain in a brand new development.
Yeah.
And we didn't know really anyone. And every day, every weekday from 7 a.m. to 3, the construction crews would be, in our neighborhood building houses. And then when they left at 3 o'clock, there was dead silence. There
Wow.
wasn't a person, there was no one around. And I said to my husband, I'm like, we don't know anybody, nobody's around. What are we going to do? If something happens to us, nobody's going to miss us, nobody's going to know. So I decided that had to change, that I had to get out there and start meeting people. And I had this crazy idea. I didn't know whether it would work or not, but I just started walking around the neighborhood on the weekends. There were a lot of renters and people who had second homes, and I would just introduce myself and chat with everybody. Didn't matter who it was. I'd just walk around the neighborhood and let them know that we lived there full time, and if they were ever in need of anything, to give us a call. So
Wow. Yeah.
I would exchange numbers with them, and if they were willing, they'd give me my number. They would give me their number, which pretty much was 100% of the time. And I started making connections. And then I would find out who was in town on the weekends, and then I'd invite everybody that was in town that weekend to come over to my house to get to know the other people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we kind of formed a community within this rental community.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic, because we all look out after each other. We watch out for each other's, properties, and we really care about each other. So that was something that was really, really important for me, to have friends in this new neighborhood and to create a community, not only for myself but for everyone else.
Yeah. Well, and that's so interesting because you seem to find common ground. I think anywhere you go within Garrett County's borders, and it really started there for you. And do you think that passion or that outreach and that sense of community kind of helped push you the direction of starting this business?
It absolutely did. I've had friends ask me, how do you meet all these people? And
Mm-hmm.
they've said to me, you know everyone. So that kind of got me on the track. Well, why don't I share this information? Because I've done it for myself, and I've learned how to do it so well, to make new connections and form relationships that last. This is very valuable. This is a skill that's very valuable, especially after the COVID pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
when we were all isolated and everybody resorted to their, social media and tech.
Yeah.
Perhaps maybe some people have a hard time reconnecting face to face and putting themselves out there and engaging with others in person. And what I have found from doing this coaching is that to engage with others, you really have to be an engaging person. For instance, let me give you an example, Connor. If you're in the grocery store and somebody is in front of you or behind you and they're complaining how long it's taking for the checker to check them out, then that may not be the most engaging situation. But if you're smiling and looking at somebody in line and just give them a quick smile and just say, oh, the weather's great today, or some kind of engaging, that's a more engaging situation than someone complaining. So I've learned that if you really want to make a connection, you have to be approachable. You have to make yourself
Yeah.
connecting with others.
I think that's an interesting segue into Kim Carter coaching you're now doing for a living in sharing that knowledge and helping people to build meaningful connections and of course help to tackle their agendas, their work life, their personal lives in perhaps an enhanced way. So can you tell me a little bit about Kim Carter coaching generally and then we're going to kind of boil down the different services and things they can expect to learn from you.
Sure. Well, I help individuals and entrepreneurs make connections, lasting connections.
Mm-hmm.
For individuals wanting to connect and have more rewarding relationships, a more rewarding experience in life.
Mm-hmm.
And for businesses, I help them create a cohesive team, or whether it's just connecting with clients on a deeper level, finding out what their needs are so they can give their clients and customers a better experience.
Yeah.
And this in turn can result in repeat customers, referrals, increased revenue.
Yeah.
So that's kind of um, where I'm going.
Awesome. Awesome. So your coaching styles help them kind of identify where relationships have meaning. And then you help them develop that so that they can be a more effective team, a more effective individual. And of course, I think there's a bottom line benefit to your coaching where they will I think that directly reflected in the quality of life enjoyment. Like you said, the bottom line, what happens when you have a more engaged and professionally connected staff that knows how to work with their customers, that has maybe things together themselves, how much more efficient they can be, how much more they can add to the process. And that's really cool that we now have you in our area to help any business that may struggle in this area or any individual that may want some growth in this area where they can come to you and they can find that next step, or maybe they haven't quite figured it out and you help connect the dots for them. So that's really cool. Let's boil down maybe an individual level. If they were to come to you for the first time, kind of how would you approach helping them with your coaching system?
Well, I don't believe in a one size fits all. So what I would do is connect with them with a discovery call, find out where they're at now, where they would like to be, and I my coaching is basically all about results.
Okay.
So in the discovery call, I would find out where they would like to go with either creating new relationships, making new friends, uh, being involved in community outreach for connection within groups within the community. So basically, it would be a 20-minute discovery call to find out what their needs would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do that as far as the businesses are concerned as well. And then we would go from there. We would go into way that I would help them realize the way that they can get themselves to the result that they're looking for.
Okay. What does that system kind of look like? Do you help them identify goals? Do you start with the end in mind? What does that process look like?
If they have a particular goal in
Mm-hmm.
mind, we can start from the results and work our way up.
Excellent.
And if they do not have a specific goal in mind, we can start where they're at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, let me give you an example. If they're looking for a specific result, what their thoughts are right now today, and what actions um, are they taking to get that result,
Yeah.
and how are they feeling about what they're thinking to be able to get them to that result that they're desiring.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So it's kind of helping them think through the
It's
process. How
yes,
cool
it's
is
like a
that?
five step. It's a
Yeah.
five step. Or we can start from the result. What would you need to do to
Hmm.
get there? What would you need to think, and what would you need to feel to get you there?
Wow.
And for an example, one of my extraordinary goals is to become a speaker.
Okay.
So I have enrolled in a speaker program for myself. So that's step number one.
Yeah.
And what would I need to think? I would need to think and believe that I possibly have the ability to become a speaker.
Yeah.
And then I need to take the actions to practice and get myself to the end result of becoming a speaker. So
Mm.
I'm actually using those five steps for myself
Yeah.
to achieve my extraordinary goal.
That's so cool. So you're not just coaching people in this method. It's a method you're actively using yourself to make yourself better. So that's really cool. You're not just teaching them something. You're coming from a place of experience, and it sounds like you're right there with your clients, and that's really cool to know that they're getting something. I think that's wholly unique from you. Would you say that's correct?
Yes, I would, because I actually use what I teach
Yeah.
in my own life, and um, been able to achieve the results for myself,
Yeah.
and I would really, really love to share this with the community and help others um, get to their lifelong dreams or the results that they're looking for.
Wow. So would you say that this is kind of a system you've developed over a lifetime? Do you think this is unique to you?
Well, I would say it's a combination of both, of experience
Hmm.
and what I've been taught in my coaching program. It was a year-long program. It was very intense,
Gotcha.
and I learned a lot of stuff that was not able to get from my lifetime of experience.
Wow.
So it's a combination of both.
Excellent. So that's really cool. They're not just when they engage in your services, this isn't just a fly by night. This is a professional program that is going to, again, like you said, help them achieve some results that maybe they've been after a long time. I think that adage is true. If you want to achieve something different, you've got to do something different to achieve it. And I think engaging in your services is a great way to kind of start that process in maybe tackling something they've been after for a while.
That's exactly right. If you do the same thing day in and day out, you're going to get the exact same results.
Hmm.
You have to absolutely do something different to get a different result. So I love that adage that you just brought up, and it's perfect. And it's very easy to say you want something, but to take the steps to actually go after what you want, it
Hmm.
is a totally different thing. You actually have to start before you're ready. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait till things are perfect because that's an impossibility. Let's just tell the truth about that. And so you just need to start somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and that's really cool because I think another piece of what you advocate is people to be out there and engaged and seen. Do you think your program would help them with that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So, if someone were to contact you for the first time, they want to get going with their business or their individual lives. Where might they go to find more information about your program here? And before we continue, remember we're listening for a key word, and at some point you're going to reveal the key word. We're going to let that up to you. You'll reveal the key word, and again, anyone that emails you with this key word will have an opportunity to receive a scholarship for your services, which is exciting. So anyway, now that I've got that out of the way, let's continue. Where would somebody go to find out more information or to keep in touch with your announcements, your information, or your contacts so that they can learn more?
You can find me at my website. It's kimcartercoaching.com, and you can go on my website and you can schedule a discovery call with me, and that's an initial 20-minute call to find out where you're currently at and where you might like to be, what results you're looking for. You can email me at kimcarter@thecoachingkorner.com, and coaching is spelt with a K and corner is spelt with a K, not a C. And I'm going to be organizing some live events, and I will post that on my Instagram, and I will leave information at the Chamber of Commerce.
Awesome. That is so cool.
A few things. And the key word is results. And
there it is. It's right there. That's the key word. So they need to email you that
Yes.
word for
Yes.
a chance to of course win that scholarship. And how
That's
cool
right.
that is. That's actually a first for the Business B.E.A.R podcast where we've done something like this. So it's super exciting. But you heard it, folks. The key word you were looking for is results. Make sure you send that via email to Kim Carter. That's KIMCARTER at the Coaching Korner. That's the Coaching Korner spelled with a K instead of a C. Now that's KOACHINGKORNER.com. So
And
thanks for that. That's fun.
Yeah, one other thing, Connor. When you email, leave your name and your email. Well, I'll have your email, of course, and your phone number. And just give me a brief paragraph on what this would mean to you. And they can also reach me at kimcartercoaching.com and book their discovery call, their 20-minute discovery call with me at their convenience.
Great. Now, is there any charge for a discovery call?
There is not.
Awesome. So it's kind of like a free consultation, if you will,
Yes.
to move forward.
Yes, and the scholarship is something separate.
Gotcha.
It's 6 weeks of coaching with me, 20-minute sessions once a week, and that's what the scholarship includes.
Awesome. That is so cool. Well, again, folks, you heard it here. Keyword, results. Send that over to Kim for your big chance to, of course, win that scholarship. Reach out to her if you want to learn more about her products, her services, everything she can offer you through KimCarterCoaching.com. Well, thanks so much, Kim. And again, thank you all for listening to the Business B.E.A.R podcast. We appreciate having you along again. Remember to be following us at Garrett County Department of Business Development on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, or Twitter, whatever Elon's calling it these days. Folks, follow us along for the latest episode drop for the Business B.E.A.R podcast, and of course to know everything that's happening in your business community. Folks, it's Connor Norman. It's been an absolute pleasure having you along, and I'll see you all on the other side.